that word is in a lot of different ways. You may interpret it one way, your teammate interprets it another way. As coaches, we have to get everyone speaking a common language. One of the most important aspects of it. A team must speak a common language. And that common language, all those words right there, they have to be visible behaviors that someone can see, and then eventually your players will not only see someone doing it, they'll feel how to do it. At West Point, with all these words, you know, you can buy leadership books and you see lists of all these words. And this is what a great team is. My leader team and I, we didn't realize it was going to take us 2 years, but it was a 2-year project of studying what people considered the greatest teams, the greatest leaders in the areas of sport, business, and the military. And what we wanted to try to do is, what were the common threads, common behaviors of those people? And we also wanted to get it down to a very small number. So we ended up getting it down to five key concepts. And we'd say the best of the best. Number one, they were trustworthy. Number two, they knew what they wanted, and they pursued it with purpose, passion, and dedication. Number three, they believed in themselves and they believed in their teammates. Number four, they were mentally tough and they were focused. And number five, they made everyone around them better. They had a special way of making everyone around them better. If you think about all the different things that you had on the board, they all would fit somewhere in one of those five things. Because someone showing humility probably in many cases makes people around them better, because they're not being egotistical. They're not putting themselves above the team. So all the different things that you had were excellent responses. My team and I, we just tried to put it in words like this, but then once we did that, we needed to go a little bit farther with each one. Because, yeah, the short phrases that we had, it's all well and good, but then we needed to get behaviors, like, for example, trustworthy. There's different levels of trust. And what is trust for one team member may be defined differently. So we had to get, again, a common language. So the common language, we tried to get 6 behaviors or something that players could relate to. So like, let's just take trust. Treat others with dignity and respect. Speak the truth. Do what they say they will do. They're dependable. They're competent. See, in sport, they have to trust one another as players. You would have to trust me that I would be able to do my job on the basketball court in order for our team to be everything that we would need to. So we wanted to make sure that they realized they had a responsibility to be the best that they could be and be competent. And then exhibit self-discipline and self-control. Those were the behaviors. We did it for all 5 of the principles of greatness. So you can kind of get an idea of where we were going with trying to turn it into those more of those visible behaviors. I'm not saying this is right in your context, your culture. This worked in ours. It became our common language. I like the word commitment. You know, I've heard the word commitment several times this evening. We had a line of commitment, and actually when I was coaching basketball outside our changing room, we put the line right on the floor. A player knew that they were not to come out of that changing room until they knew when I crossed that line of commitment, training has started, practice has started. Officially, I have not blown the whistle or anything like that, but because they're on a basketball court, that 94 by 50 foot area, that's sacred. You come on that court, okay, now, productive activity. I don't want players on a basketball, it's too sacred to me. If you're going to go on the basketball court, there better be productive activity. So they knew exactly. I mean, we helped them understand what productive activity was. And it wasn't anything grueling, it was just they were doing something that was going to help them become a better basketball player. They didn't come out, and then you and I would just go over there and talk about the date that we were going to have, you know, the dates we were going to have tonight or something. It was like, no, it was business. I think that's the way it should be. So it comes down to above the line behaviors. You can see they're purposeful, productive, powerful. Or if it's not above the line, then it's below the line. And that leads to unproductive activities. Simply put is this. Players make a decision, people make a decision every single day. You make a decision, are you going to work above the line or below the line? To me, it's a habit. Getting yourself so that you're giving your best becomes a habit, and it becomes who you are. Would you give anything less? Why would you do anything less than your best? You break it down into 3 zones. We try to get players operating in that above the line is always doing extra. This is one that I'm using with the University of Minnesota football team, so that they get an idea of what right looks like, so these habits can be ingrained. Okay, let's go back to your team. Thank you for listening. How does this affect, in what ways could those 4 boxes help you right now with your coaching? You know the results that you want. I mean, you have your vision, you have your goals. I mean, you know what the intended results are. You have an excellent idea of what your team needs to be doing on the field or in whatever the sport area that you play. You know what right looks like as far as what the intended you know, these are the behaviors we have to get. Well, that's why you train every day. What are you doing with these two boxes? What I'd like you to do right now on a piece of paper, I want you to put 3 columns. Our core values, our behaviors, and our results. A question that I don't need for you to raise your hands, but a question I would ask is, does your team, does your program, do you have core values? Do your players know what they are? Are they words and just words if you do have them? Or are you helping, if they're really important, if those values that you selected are really important, I would hope that you're doing things to help teach what those behaviors are that represent those values. Those experiences that you're providing every day, if you really believe in those core values, connect it all together. Let me just talk for a couple minutes on core values. It's one of the most important things, in my personal opinion. It was a difference maker at West Point. When I took over a program, we had a good program. As far as the sport program, it was good. I wanted it to go to a completely higher level. And I did not think, I thought that the programs, even though they said they were being built on values and there were core values, they were nothing but words. My goal was to get teams with their core values to have them mean something when it comes to behaviors, so they would understand what their team's core values were, both visibly, but also actually feel them. If hard working if industriousness, hard working, if that was a core value, I wanted players, they had to know what that green zone was. They needed to know what it looked like and what it felt like to go through. This is hard work. This is what hard work really means. Core values, they bond a team together. They're the common thread. They become the heart and soul of your team. I call it, they become the emergency generator. When something goes wrong on your team, or something goes wrong in your life, it's your core values. It's your values that find a way to pick you up. Where do you get your strength in life? Hey, all of us have had things go on in our lives. Or if not, you see people sometimes and you just say, wow, how are they getting through this? Probably they're getting through because of the core values. When I say core values, it's what you have inside. It's who you are. They get us through the good times, but they're there during the difficult times. That's why I call them the emergency life generator that kicks on suddenly when something happens that really could just knock our legs out from under us. We have something. And because those values are so powerful, guess what? that drives behaviors. So suddenly we're getting through, we're resilient. You know, I gave you a big compliment. I give you a nation a compliment. I think you're a very resilient nation. Well, maybe I need to dig down deeper. Why are you so resilient? Maybe I need to ask you questions like that. Maybe I need to take people aside and say, and I have actually done it some. I have told them this. I've told a lot of New Zealanders, whatever you're doing, please make sure that the next generation is as resilient as what your parents have been and what you are. Don't lose that resilience. Truly. We're losing a little bit in America, and it bothers me. There's too much of a sense of entitlement. I call it a case of the do-overs. Too many young people now, something doesn't go right, they just want to do it over again. That's not life. Are you kidding me? Something happens, you find a way to make the best out of maybe a very terrible situation. You just can't press a delete button and okay, new game, okay, fine. What's the highest score I can get? Aren't I great? Damn, I mean, really. That whole concept of a do-overs, you know, that was an expression in our country. Do-over, it's a do-over. Can you do that in a game? Can you just stop the game and just say, oh no, they didn't score. We're gonna do this over again? No, doesn't happen that way. Core values also provide a moral compass. They truly set the standard for behavior and performance. That's why I think it's so important. So important that we have a program actually, and part of the reason I've been so fortunate to come to New Zealand as many times as I have, it's funded by the government. With the second year of a pilot study, it's called TLC. And it's talent, leadership, and character. And this is a product of one of the secondary schools, and we do a similar thing with teams, and we go through a whole process of working with them leadership-wise, values, and they have exactly what you have right now. And this is a school right here. These were their core values. I mean, this is what the team created, these core values. The team created, they said, for us to reach our goals, we did all that goal setting and everything, we need to have these values. Then, they transformed the core values into behaviors. So right now what I want you to do is on your sheet, put your core values, and then start filling in the next column. And that is your behaviors that go along with what that core value would be.